What's up? Today we're doing a new video that I have never done before. I'm going to be basically vlogging an entire sculpture process, start to finish, and just, it might be a short video, it might be a long video. I'm going to try and show as much as I can and just show you the process, and you can hang out and we can make a sculpture. I've been really wanting to make sculptures this year, so that's one of the big focuses. So we're going to start out with one of my characters. His name is Otto. He's a little robot. I'll show you right here. I've got a sketch of him on my iPad. But yeah, I'm not gonna waste any time. Sculpture, let's go. First thing we gotta do is sketch out the prototype, the skeleton of the sculpture. Okay, anyways, I'm gonna sketch out the sculpture in proportionate ways. I'm going to proportionately sketch it so that when I make the armature, I have a way of referencing the size. So it's going to be 6 inches tall, so it's going to be about this big from my hand to my finger right here. Once that's sketched, we're going to start making the armature with the wire and the foil, and then the fun stuff will happen. We get to sculpt. So let's get to sketching. Just finished the sketch. It is very quick. It doesn't have, there's no detail in this. It's just for a size reference comparison that I can look at while I'm sculpting. So it's nothing crazy. But now we're going to work on the armature and get that all set up. I'm not too sure how I'm going to do his armature yet. It might be a little difficult because he's a very interesting shape. Or he has interesting shapes that are part of him, so we'll see what happens. I don't know where my small gauge wire is, so we might have to use this really thick gauge wire. It's like super thick. It does not, I don't need it to be that big, but I can't find it. I don't know where it is. So perhaps if I keep looking, perhaps if I keep searching, we might find it. Oh my gosh, it's right there. There it is. See how much smaller that one is? Pliers, more pliers, and aluminum foil. Let's get to this. Alright, so the first thing we're doing is the armature. I'm not too good at armatures, and I also don't really like doing them. They're kind of annoying to me. But basically what it is a skeleton to help support your sculpture, because if you just do clay, it's not going to withstand time, and also it's hard to bake clay that's really thick if you're using polymer clay, so having the structure helps it. So I just use wire and then aluminum foil. It's very cheap if you get it at Lowe's, and then I just use this sketch that I did to create it proportionately to what I want it to be. It's been about a month. I think I'm wearing the same sweater that I was wearing in those previous clips. It's been a month, and I'm not wearing the same sweater every day. My hair's red now, front and the back. I hadn't started the sculpture because I kind of got a little intimidated by it. However, we're getting back into it. At the time that I'm filming this right now, I'm actually already done with it, so I'm going back and filling in this footage. But it's been about a month, so if the rest of this video is a little bit choppy and timelines and clips kind of don't match up, don't say a single thing. Don't say one thing about it. I know. I didn't plan this video out. I started it with a different method, and then a month later, I had a whole revelation awakening where I was like, oh, let's actually switch up the way that I do content. So I haven't planned this video out. The next project video will be a lot more thought out and will make sense. So forgive me if things are a little confusing. I'm going to pop in and give updates on the process as we're going forward, but now that we have the armature done, we're going to start out with a few different rounds of sculpting. I'm going to start out with the head, then work on the body, and then do the legs, attach it, and then we'll paint it. Let's get into the first rounds of sculpting. Okay, let's start sculpting. So we're going to work on the head first. I have these sketches. This is just an expression sheet that I did of Otto a few months back, and I'm going to use it as a reference as well as that other sketch that I've been showing. So in order to do this, I just take that little piece of aluminum foil that I sculpt, sort of. I don't know if that's not really it's not really sculpting, but whatever, I shape it to the size of the head. And then I will cover it with thin slabs of clay, which I've put through a pasta roller. And then I just do a lot of smoothing out to make sure that there's no bumps and ridges. And I get to add things to it, like his little horns. For that centerpiece, that little antenna, I did put a piece of really thin wire in there just to help the structure stay a little better, because sometimes pieces will fall off. So having that really helps. And then I just blend everything down together with that little L-shaped tool. That's my favorite one to use. I think it's the best one. And for eyes, I kind of do the same thing every time I make sculptures that have eyes that are not like human. I just take that little ball end one and put some eye sockets, drag them down, give it that sad, droopy signature look that I do, and then call it a day. I don't do too much with the eyes. I like to keep them very simple. For detailing, I'm going in with that L-shaped tool again and just adding some ridges where the metal will meet up, because in my mind he has like these metal plates that attach together. So I'm putting the seams there with some nuts and bolts to hold it together. And then once I do those first rounds of detailing and add all the elements to it, I will use some oil to just smooth everything out and make it look the best that it can. If you're wondering if I'm filming all of these like little intertwining segments on the same day, the answer is yes. I definitely am doing that. I'm doing it. Now that the head is sculpted, we're going to move on to the torso of the sculpture, which is the part that I'm most scared of. I don't know why. This sculpture is making me really nervous for some reason. So here are some clips. Let's sculpt the torso. Onto the torso. Here is the armature wire and foil that I've come up with here. So it's just going to attach into the bottom of the torso section. Again, just taking those thin pieces of clay, putting them over, and what's most time consuming is just smoothing everything out and making sure there's no bumps and ridges to the best of your ability. It's very difficult to do, especially when your base is foil, because foil doesn't really smooth down too much. It's very rigid, very rough, but it's not the end of the world. It's just, it takes a little bit more time. But I prefer it over using like a lighter clay. In my opinion, I think it's better, and it's cheaper, way cheaper. Once I smooth it down a good amount, I will take this bacon bond, which is what I just put over top of that wire. It's basically liquid clay / glue for your clay, which will help it stick to things better. It's really good if you're putting clay over wire like I am here. I've also added a smaller gauge wire around that main wire to help create a little bit more traction. And then it's just a matter of smoothing things down. Most of sculpting is just blending and smoothing things together and doing it until you're happy with the results. Once I've got everything together, I kind of start getting more nitpicky, and I'll make sure that I've got every kind of little like scratch out of the way, any fingerprints. I try to make it as smooth as possible, but you're always inevitably gonna have some fingerprints and some scratches and dents throughout it. Now I'm working on the hands, which took me forever to figure out. I could not figure out how to do his hands. I did not think it was going to be that difficult, but his hands are like little clamps. So I don't know why they took so long, but they were so difficult to do. But eventually I figured it out. It's been many hours later. It's currently midnight. I stopped filming at around like 6 p.m., 6:30ish, somewhere around there, I think. But I have done about 80% of the detail on his body, his torso. Here's what we got. The buttons. Again, I need to still do a good amount of work. I need to smooth out all of the smooth out all of the clay to make it less noticeable. His buttons, I switched around the order. If you can see, where is it? Right there. On my sketch, it's triangle, circle, square, triangle, star. I switched it to put the star in the center because I feel like that looks better. So now it is triangle, circle, star, triangle, square. And then I still need to add the details on his arms to give him that material, if that makes sense. But yeah, that's where we're at. Now that the torso is all done, we can go in and do the legs. We're so close to finishing this sculpture. I don't think I filmed anything for the legs because I didn't film an art and chat video. I've been filming art and chat videos. So if you want to watch me sculpt stuff and paint stuff in real time, go check those out. Those are already up because the sculptures, by the time that this video is out, the sculpture's already done. So you can go back and watch those if you want. I just hang out, chat. They're like an hour and a half, 2 hours long sometimes. Throw it on in the background while you're doing homework, while you're cleaning your room, studying. Maybe you're doing art as well, just for some company, someone to talk and ramble. Those are already up if you want to go watch them. But I didn't film that much of sculpting the legs because I didn't make a video for that one. So we're probably just going to fast forward to where the legs are kind of done and we'll attach it together. So let's go. What's up? It's kind of late right now. Well, it's like 11 p.m. But here's the update. I have just kind of completed the legs, sort of, and I put the feet. I'm trying to get him to stand. I want him to stand up when he's baked, so I'm working on the balancing and making the feet long enough and strong enough for him to stand. So far, so good. He's up there. He's standing. Let me move you down so you can see what he'll look like. And then the head is gonna sit about like half a centimeter above his neck right here. So about like right there. So I'm hoping it looks like it'll stand for the most part. It seems pretty good. I can always go in and add some stilts into the bottom of his feet, like drill a small hole and then put little stilts in it and put him on a plaque so that he stands up better. I'm gonna finish sculpting it tonight, assemble it, and then in the morning I'm gonna bake it and then film the video where I was painting it, which by the time you're watching this, you would have already seen that video. But they're posted there for you to watch if you want to see more in-depth process. But yeah, that's where we're at right now. I'm going to finish it up, and then we will get to painting. I got my snacks, mango sorbet and goldfish, and I'm currently watching Doja Cat at Coachella Weekend 2. As much as I love sculpting, and as much as this project is very exciting to me, I cannot wait to be done with it. I love painting the sculptures. That's the most fun part for me. Okay, that's a lie. It's all fun. I think it's the most visually exciting part, because that's when it really comes together and you really see like, dang, I did that. Every time I'm sculpting it, I'm always like, it's okay. And then once I paint it, I'm like, there we go. We're so back. I'm gonna finish up the details on the legs, like putting in the screws and a couple nicks into his metal. I want him to have a few dents. I'm gonna stop talking now because I'm rambling, so I'm gonna go. I will see you in the morning. Morning. It's the next day. We're gonna assemble the sculpture, pop it in the oven, and get to painting. I have a few more details that I want to do on it just very quickly, and then the oven is heating up right now, so I'm gonna work really quickly. All I have to do is attach the legs to the torso and then the head to the torso as well. I'm gonna do that very quickly. I am so excited to paint. I can't wait to paint. I'm also really, it's a bittersweet feeling because as much as I'm ready for this to be done and complete, and it'll be done today, it's kind of sad when you finish a piece because it's like, oh, it's over. It's done. Now it just exists. But I'm going to go in and texture him a little more. I put some texture on his body or on his legs last night just to give him some kind of wear and tear feel. So he's got a few nicks in dents in the side of his legs, and he's got some scratch marks. Nothing crazy, but just like enough to show that the metal has been worn down a little bit, but he's not like falling apart. But it will make sense once we hear more of his story and the comics come out, because all I'll say is that he's been broken before and he's been put together, like physically put together a couple times. He's not in perfect condition. I have coffee in my cup because if you watched one of the art and chat videos, I told you about the coffee incident. And you know what I'm wearing right now? a white sweater. I'm not having coffee incident 2.0. I don't use this mic that often. I see people on TikTok clip it to like a paintbrush and they hold it like this. And I need my own version of this because I don't want to hold a paintbrush. I want to hold something else. What I really need to do is find something that hides the mic so you can't see the mic and it looks like I'm talking into something. I will figure that out later. Anyways, sculpting. Let's go. Okay, so here's what I did with the legs. I just added some nicks and scratches and dents to it. I didn't film it because, like I said, I didn't film a separate video for this, but that's what they look like. I am now just assembling it, so I'm going to roll out some very thin lines of clay to help blend the legs to the torso and the torso to the head. I put a little bit of bacon bond on the end of that skewer just to help it stick when I bake it. And then I'm just blending it down with my favorite tool again, and then taking some oil to, again, smooth everything, make it look seamless, and just look nice. I added a wire with some smaller gauge wire around it to help the head, again, give it some more traction, something more to grip on when I put the clay together. And I also put some bacon bond around that wire so that the clay that I attach to it will have something else to grip to, and it'll cure nicer when you bake it. Here he goes into the oven. We will be back in 15 minutes. All right, here he is, all baked, ready to go. I sanded down a few parts of him. He doesn't stand upright, but it's okay. I can always add stilts into the bottom of his feet if I want to. Let's get to painting. Going into the painting, I did have that initial sketch that I've been showing a few times throughout the video. I'm basically following that. I did change up a few different things here and there, but for the most part, the painting is pretty much identical to the sketch. Otto's made out of like aluminum metal. He's not silver, he's not sparkly or shiny, but he is metal. He's more of like a brushed metal kind of texture, but there's still some sheen to that material. So that's his body type, what he's made out of. He's got 5 buttons on the front of him, and then he's got one little light on top of him. And he does have this little thing that floats, but I don't know how to incorporate that. So for the time being, I'm not going to worry about that, and I might do that another time. The painting process for this sculpture was fairly easy. Otto is basically just one color with a few accent colors here and there. I got these really nice, super fine, thin brushes, which I've been wanting some, and these are amazing for detail. So good. So I'm just painting the buttons. Again, it's very simple. This painting process is not going to be too crazy. It's basically just a flat color, accent pieces, and then I'm going to do some washes of paint in a minute. Basically, a wash of paint is just paint mixed with a lot of water to not like be super opaque, but just give it like a little bit of a tinge, a little bit of a hue variation. It's like if you're a digital artist, it's basically like if you turn down the opacity of a layer just to add some depth. So I'm just taking that, putting it around the hinges and any of the joints where his limbs, I suppose, would move. And I put it anywhere there were screws. I made sure to put some into the dents or any scratches in him just to give it some more depth as well. And then I went through any seams and just added a little more depth with some dark brown paint. The seams were like where the metal meets up together. That center piece on his torso is a little thing that opens up. I'm not sure if it opens up to store things or if it opens up to just get to the hard wire stuff of him. I haven't decided that yet, so that is not canon information. I don't even know. I don't know yet, and I don't know when I will decide. I think I want it to be empty, but time will tell. But anyways, that is the painting all done. All done in his glory. He looks crazier on camera than he does in real life for some reason, but there he is. I just took some photos of him, which I'll insert right here so you can see. I'm really happy with how he turned out, and I'm excited to use him for photos and do different things with him. But there he is, all done. We have made it to the end of the video. It was exactly how I envisioned him to be. I don't have any regrets. There are maybe a few things I would do differently, but it's always going to be like that when you're making something. But there he is. He's got his little bruises and his nicks and scratches and dents all over him because he's been through some things, which you'll find out one day. For those of you who are decent fans, you probably know about the Asteroid puppet. Asteroid and Otto are best friends, as well as Lucille, but she is their best friends, but they're not. The duo is Otto and Asteroid, but Lucille is collectively their best friend as well. So it's really a trio. At the end of the day, Otto and Asteroid are best buds. This is the Asteroid puppet. This one moves. I can pose it. It's not that great. I made this like almost 2 years ago now. I made this one. So I am going to go back and make a new one of these. And then I will also turn this sculpture into a puppet. Not this exact sculpture, but I will make a puppet version of this one that is posable. And then I still have to make a sculpture of Lucille, which might be the next project, just so I can have all three of them done. But I didn't intend for this to be proportionate to the size that he is in my mind. Otto is much shorter. He's a little tiny little robot. Like, do you see where his feet are? Look at him. He's a little guy. He is a little guy. I'm gonna clip this in my shirt. Last time I did this, the audio went really crazy. This looks so stupid. I hate how these look. But anyways, here's the height comparison between the two of them. Otto is he's a little guy. So Asteroid, here's some canon information. Asteroid is about 5'11". Otto is around, what is that? Like 3'10", 4 feet maybe? I don't know. Otto's pretty short. He's about half the length of Asteroid, so he's about 3'5" maybe. I don't know. I can't do math. But there he is. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Follow me on Instagram. You can buy some of my art. I don't know if this sculpture is for sale yet on the website. I'm thinking about doing it. I don't know for sure. I will put it up on the screen with the official answer as of now. So if he's available and you want to get one, check out the website in the description. You can buy some of my art. I have prints, stickers, pins, sculptures, t-shirts, tote bags, all kinds of stuff like that. That's all for this video. Thanks for watching. Follow me, like, subscribe, buy my art, or Venmo me some money if you want to support me. Please help me fund art projects because they're expensive. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.